EDC knives, survival knives, flipper knives, fixed blade knives, neck knives. I have them. We're going to talk about them. My knife collection, it's here. Welcome to Hard City Raindrops. I have them all laid across the table for us to explore. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the dang thing. Into the dang thing. Excuse me, Storm. Storm's here, guys. Come on up. Come on. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends. There's Mama Storm, guys. Go get your toy. Go get your toy. Good girl. Dog nose. I have survival knives. I think we're going to talk about those first since they are right here in line first. So, my number one survival knife that is definitely, like, you have to have this thing. Well, you don't have to have this one, but you have to have a survival knife, right? If you're a survivalist. Or, you know, something like that. But, you know, really you should just have a good fixed blade knife. Let's just put it like that. So the one I went with is without really having to search all over the up and down the world for, which I did, but you don't have to search no more. If you don't mind waiting and paying a bit more, you can go with a William Collins survival knife. So this is what I went with. This thing is an absolute beauty. It's got oil all over it, if you're wondering what's sticky. I keep it in my car, my survival bag, which, you know, I try not to do, but I've been doing. It's getting some surface rust and stuff, it looks like, maybe on there. I'm going to have to take care of that. But anyway, I know how to do that, so it's not a big deal. But this is a handmade knife. And they're all serialized, like serial numbered. We'll do B-roll of this so you can get a better look at it. But basically, it's got these beautiful scales. It's got a bow drill divot and the sheath. Well, I thought it came with a sheath. This one, it didn't come with a quality sheath. You have to order that separately. It will be here by April. Understand that when you buy a knife like this, you're not just going to put it in a crappy, you know, plastic like crappy sheath like a Moore comes in or something, you know, or you could put it in a Kydex sheath, but you know, I want a leather sheath, a real nice one, so that's what I'm waiting for. So that's why you haven't seen a review for this knife yet. You've only seen an unboxing. For one, the sheath that I bought cost over $100, and for two, I didn't want to do the review of the knife until I had that. So basically, We'll just wait until I have everything for it to do the review. So this thing here, though, it's got 3 different grinds on it. It's just an unbelievable tool and piece of equipment to have. It'll go through concrete. It'll go through car doors. It'll chop. It'll skin. It'll flip burgers. It will do it all. And I would not want to be on the business end of this thing, seriously. That's what WCSK stands for, Woods Combat Survival Kitchen. Mine is 0065B, and it's 01 tool steel. This thing is an absolute beast. And you get a little bit of a hot spot when you're back here chopping, because I've done some testing with it, but and it's got this just amazing. You chop with that thing, with the end here, right here, guys. It just, oh man, it destroys just everything in its path. It's just an absolute beast. And the tip, yeah, I'm getting some rust. I'm going to take care of that today, actually. So, yeah, 01 tool steel. I mean, I have it oiled up, but, you know, I like to leave it in my car, my survival bag. But I think I'm going to leave it out of there for now on. That is the William Collins knife. He spends a lot of time sitting there sanding all these little grooves, you know, by hand and all this, and it's just a good knife. So I went with that one. That is my number one survival knife. I don't really need anything else. I'm not gonna have a bunch of survival knives. This is it. So, but a backup to that in case, you know, I drop it or lose it. I'm always gonna have some kind of a backup. But I went with just a cheap Moore knife. I mean, these things are $15. You can't go wrong with a Moore knife. I'll throw some B-roll in there. You'll be able to check this out close up. It's you know, these are made in Sweden. I'm pretty sure they're not full tang, but they're just so well built, and just, you know, they're so freaking sharp too, and they're really great for feathering. And you're not gonna chop with this thing and stuff, but for basic food prep, a kitchen knife, camp knife, this is a great option, you know. So for basic needs, I mean, I have another one of these that I use as my main knife in my kitchen. Actually, I have a couple of them that I use for my kitchen knives because they're that cheap and they're that awesome. So Morakniv, that's what I use. And they have this, they come with these little plastic crappy sheaths, but they got a little, it's got a little thumb ramp so you can pull it out with your thumb, and just got a little basic belt clip. No big deal. So next, for like neck knives, I don't wear neck knives. I usually just keep this in like an emergency. Keep it in my Maxpedition survival kit in my car. And this is your CRKT Minimalist. It's a small, tiny little knife, man. This thing is. I'll throw some B-roll in of it, and it's just a tiny little knife with a nice little plastic sheath, and it does work well around the neck, although I'm not, you know, a neck knife kind of guy. I'm not going to walk around with this freaking thing on my neck. It's just, I think that's kind of ridiculous. But, you know, more power to you if that's what you do. Just, you know, I'm not going to do that. But, yeah, it's got really good ergonomics, nice little thumb ramp. This is just a nice little knife. You're not going to go fight somebody with a sword with this thing, but, you know, basic food prep stuff, or basic little tinder, or just a backup little knife, man, this thing's awesome. So that's the CRKT Minimalist. I call this the SOG Instinct, because it's really a horrible little boot knife. You throw it in your boot, I guess, or you can just throw it in the trash. That's about all it's worth, I think. But I guess it doesn't hurt to have an extra little knife around. This is the SOG Instinct. I put some paracord around it because it's that ridiculous. But yeah, it's just a little boot knife. It's not really much else worth mentioning about it besides the sheath is junky. It came with a belt clip. I mean, I don't know if maybe you're into it. I'm not into this knife at all, but I do have it just in case. I'll throw some B-roll in there, so you could check that out. You know, some close-ups and stuff of it. But you know, it's the SOG Instinct. I think you get these at Walmart. It's not even that sharp. It's just, you know, something you maybe have in your back pocket or something, camp extra knife or something like that. I don't know. Just throw it in your bag or whatever. This is a K-bar. I forget what the name of this one is, but this is a really pretty cool little fixed blade knife that I usually keep in my plate carrier if I'm doing stuff like that. Each one of these knives has a dedicated position, which I'll write in the description if you want to check that out. But yeah, this is a great little knife. This is a fighting knife. This has one use. This isn't a knife that you're going to use for anything but self-defense. So that's pretty much what this is, before I stab myself on camera. But yeah, that's a K-bar. This is a great little knife. Full tang. And I believe that's the steel, but I'm not 100% sure. Made in Taiwan. But yeah, K-bar. Great little sheath too. This one always stays in my EDC bag. This is going to be your Tops Wolf PUP. So as you can see with the close-up, this thing is just a badass knife. It comes with a nice Kydex sheath. And actually, did this one come with the whistle? I think this came with the whistle too. It's got great ergonomics, Mercado scale. It's got the little spacers in between the scales, and it's just a really well-built knife made in the USA. Super freaking sharp. And it's a top, so you know they put together a nice piece of knife here. And I got a little lanyard on it. I like this knife a lot. I actually took the clip off of it because I thought I was going to use it for something other than what I wanted. And then I end up losing the pieces for it and realizing you can't get it back together. So I do need a custom sheath for it. So I'm actually thinking about starting to make my own knife sheaths, because you can never find somebody who wants to do them, a Kydex one. And I don't think it's really that hard. So I'm thinking about doing that for this myself, just experiment. But anyway, there's the Wolf PUP tops. I highly recommend, if you're going to get a knife, a small little fixed blade knife, this is the one I would go with for sure. It's just awesome. It's got great ergonomics. It's easy to sharpen. A nice belly for cutting. I mean, you can EDC this thing really if you don't mind having a chunky handle. That's the only downfall of it. It's got a big old chunky handle. But so that's pretty much it for my survival and fixed blade knives. My tool working knives, a Leatherman Surge at all times, and then a Leatherman Wingman. I didn't pull it out, but it's in there. But you know, you got to count the Surge, I guess, because it does have a knife on it. So it's got a few different knives. You know, if you have an apartment, you own an apartment, you gotta have a Leatherman, because I saw Wrangler Star, he did 10 apartment owner things, and he's like, number one thing you need is a saw. You're not going to be cutting a whole lot of things when you have an apartment, so this is about all the saw you're ever going to need for an apartment. Believe me, you're not going to cut things, you're going to be hanging and screwing more things than you think. The Leatherman Surge is just fine if you're starting out. This is a great little multi-tool to have. I use this thing 100 times a day. It's always around, always by my side. I don't wear it all the time. I wear it all the time at work, but because it's part of my little EDC kit thing here with my O-Light and stuff. But yeah, the Leatherman Surge, great option for an everyday knife. And then I also keep these little razor blade tools around. These are the Giltech Rucks. And I'll throw some B-roll of these bad boys around. They're really cool to play with, and just got these little thumb ramps. They're easy to switch razor blades, and you know, they're fun to use instead of using your actual blade to open things. So the Giltech Rucks. All right, so let's start talking about knives, or folder knives, pocket knives. For pocket folders, let's just go with some of the ones that I haven't shown in a while. This is the Carter Prime by OKC. This thing is unfinished, but it has titanium scales that I heated up with a torch, and it came out okay. This knife is not finished yet. It's I just threw it apart real quick so you could see it in the video, but it is not fully 100% finished. I'll throw B-roll of all this in there if it doesn't look good in the computer, but yeah, it's not finished up yet. Everything's all loose, but it's not, I have to put it back together still, but for the video I showed it to you. So titanium scales, this one is, I believe this is VG10 steel. It might be D2, I think it's D2 actually. Big sheep's foot blade, great working man's knife. This is a great knife to have if you're a carpenter or somebody, a woodworker or a body shop guy, mechanic. Or working in an industrial place where you're not really allowed to have knives. It's a good worker's knife, you know. Doesn't look scary, and it's an actual really versatile tool to use throughout the day. So that is the OKC Carter Prime. Mine is custom done. It comes and it looks like this, just how the clip looks. That's what color it comes, and it matches the blade very well. It's a cool knife. I like it. ONTERIO Carter Prime, made in Taiwan. Next, we have a KIZER. This is the KIZER Begieter. I don't know how to say it. I probably butchered that, but not a bad little knife either. It's not my favorite of the batch, but you know, it gets the job done. Once in a while I'll carry it. I was thinking about giving this to a buddy. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. My number one issue with this thing is that it's a painted blade, painted all the way into the pivot there, so it's really hard to open it. They should have just left that polished, that area. That's your KIZER. I'll throw some B-roll in of this knife too, by the way, so you can get a better look at it. And that's G10 scales. It does have a pretty good flipper, but this thing just basically sits right here. So this is my ONTERIO Rat number 1. Also with some custom scales on it, baby blue spacer. The Rat 1 pretty much everyone has. This is the D2 model of this blade, so it's a little bit better steel. This is a big giant freaking knife that I never carry, except if I'm going hiking or camping or something. Usually this will be the one I have, but it gets super dirty really freaking quick, so I tend to just kind of leave this around the house and stuff for stuff around the house. It's always pretty sharp. So, you know, it's always getting the job done, whatever I needed to do, and it's got a good, nice choil on it, so I'll throw some close-up. The only thing I don't like is this pinchy, it's got a very pinchy lock bar on it, so it kind of gets you pinched up in there, and it's just a big knife. I'm not a fan of big folder knives like that, so when this thing's in your pocket, I mean, it's huge in the pocket, so I'm not a big fan of that, but it's got a place in my heart because it's one of my first, and I do like it with the scales and stuff, and it's ONTERIO Rat number 1. You know, if you're a knife guy, a collector or whatever, and you collect pocket knives, you probably have the Rat 1. Next, we'll go into the Boker. This is my Boker Mini Kowikin in VG10 steel. This is a Brunley design. copper scales. I really like this knife a lot. This is my tuxedo knife, my suit knife, my going out to a nice fancy restaurant knife. This is what I'm going to generally put on me because it fits in the pocket really nice, and it just has a nice classy look to it, which is what I like a lot about it. So the story about why this Japanese design knife like this is so the samurais would give it to their wives, much bigger than this in a fixed blade. But the design of the knife was so they could slit their own throat in case their castle or whatever was overtaken by intruders, and they could kill their husbands easily and themselves. And that's why the knife is designed like that. So this is like a throwback to that era of the samurai and all that. So VG10 steel, pretty good steel, and like I said, copper blades or scales that really patina up nicely, and this knife is going to look really good in about 20 years. It's going to look awesome. Sometimes it likes to stick when you flip it, but I keep it oiled up really well with some nano oil. So yeah, that is your Brunley Mini Kaweken. And I got this off of Going Gear special. So right before Marshall died over there, after he passed away, I bought this. This is one of the last knives he sold out of his store before he passed away. So this also has that attached to it. So pretty cool knife. Great guy too. Great knife store. Sad situation there. This is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, probably my #1 favorite knife. I have a freaking pink lanyard on there. I don't know. I thought it looked good. Give it a little pop. This was these little, I forget what these things are called. These little nuts here for the lanyards were a gift from Pat over at Giltech. And this is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, black on black. This is just a great iconic knife from Spyderco, and it's an absolute beast of a knife. I love this freaking knife. I love to play with it and flip it open and all that stuff. So it's a cool knife. This is S30V steel. I don't know what the coating's called. It's got the lock up on it, the liner lock, I'm sorry. So that's the little Spidey drop, a little flip there, a little anyway, yeah, I like to flip this one around a lot. So that's the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 G10 scales. I have an aftermarket deep carry clip on it from MXG clips. It actually got caught in something and bent really bad, but I was able to fix it. The clip is titanium. It's like a $40 clip on this thing or something. I know, right? That's ridiculous, but that's how much that freaking deep carry clip is, because they don't have deep carry clip for this knife. So this one here is your Spyderco Delica, thing all custom painted and stuff. This is Delica 4 VG10 steel. Great little knife, nice ergonomics. This is a great EDC knife. It's like $60. You can't beat it. I have mine custom painted. Throw some B-roll in there, this thing. And this is just a cool knife. One of my absolute most favorite is this one here. This is your Zero Tolerance 0808. Oof. And this thing drops hard on you, you know, so you gotta really be careful with this one. But it likes to drop, and it drops right on it'll drop right on your knuckle. It just did, actually. Gave me a little cut, so. But this one comes out of here pretty fast. So this is a good knife to have, though. I'm missing the pocket clip for this. I don't carry this one a whole lot. This is my most expensive knife, and I really like this one a lot. This is probably my favorite one. Titanium scales, S30V steel. And this is a great knife. I do carry this sometimes. Like, even sometimes when I'm in a tuxedo and I really want something badass, like a suit knife, or I'm dressed up, this is the one I go with. I just need to get the pocket clip back on it. Zero Tolerance 0808. This thing is badass. I love this knife a lot. It's got a really nice drop on it. It opens and closes crisp as hell. I had this knife for like 2 years now. I just dropped it on my knuckle. Look, it comes down fast out of there, so you got to be careful with this one. But this is a really beautiful knife. It's one of my favorites. This is the Kershaw Link. Made in the USA is what I like about this knife. Aluminum scales. It's a big old sharp knife, and it's got the assisted lock up on it, so it's hard to push down. It's really like a two-handed knife, but it's a big boy. But I do like it. It's sharp. I love the look of it. It's got the flag on there. It's made in the USA, and this is just a great knife to have for a budget option. I still carry this thing time to time, more of like a, I don't know, like maybe a beach kind of knife. I usually wear this for the beach. It's blue, I don't know, it just reminds me of the beach. I really love this knife a lot. So this is your Kershaw Link. Next is another Kershaw. This is the Kershaw, what is this one? This is the Kershaw Dividend. I have this one custom painted as well. I like this knife for a lightweight option EDC knife. I usually will wear this to work. It's light. It's not hard to lose because I have it painted the way I do. It's just a cool little knife. I like it a lot. Stays sharp. It's cheap. It's only like 30 bucks or something. It's got a good clip on it. It's plastic, you know, whatever. Open it. Assisted open knife. It's a made in the USA Kershaw. I don't have much of a problem with this knife. I like it. I still carry it from time to time. Next is another Kershaw that I've been carrying a lot lately, and this is one of my second new favorite knives, and this is the Kershaw Fly Through. This is not an assisted opening knife, a manual open, and it works very well. It's a good knife. It's got great ergonomics. It's got nice scales, sharpening choil. It's 18 CRMOV steel, RJ Martin design. It's a beautiful, beautiful EDC knife. It's got nice jimping on the top. And it's just a perfect size, a nice deep carry clip, which a lot of these knife makers aren't doing. I don't know why, but it's just it's a great knife. This is a great option knife. It's only $40, and you can see through the pivot. And it's just I'll show you some B-roll of this thing, but it's just a cool EDC knife, and I absolutely love to carry this thing from time to time. So that is the Kershaw Fly Through. So next up is my absolute favorite knife. I've had it for about a week. I like it more than all these other knives, period, as far as everyday carry goes, and that is the Benchmade Bug Out. This thing is actually awesome. I love how thin it is. I love how lightweight it is, the deep carry pocket clip. It's so much fun to play with that freaking axis lock. I mean, it's just absolutely awesome. There's nothing like it that I have here. And the more you have the knife, the better it breaks in. You can use the thumb studs, but it's a pretty knife too. S30V steel. Benchmade Bug Out. It's a cool knife, and it's just got all things that a knife should have. Like some of these don't have sharpening choil, some of them don't have this or that. This has pretty much all of it. It has great ergonomics. It's thin, it's lightweight, it's a good company, deep carry pocket clip. It's got an awesome open, enclosed. It's got a little bit of jimping up here. Not much, but just enough. It's got a sharpening choil. It's got good steel. It just meets all the check marks for a knife that you would spend that kind of money on and really have something where it's going to last you forever. And it's fast, man. And it's fun to play with. So, you know, a lot of times we get knives, guys, because they're fun to play with and they're just cool. So, you know, not necessarily because it's the best tool, just because it's fun to freaking play with. And, you know, when we're addicted to knives, usually most non-knife people are getting a knife because, you know, it's a good tool. Like, you know, maybe this is probably a better cutting option than all of these, honestly, because you can switch the blade easily. But, you know, we're knife junkies, so that's what we do. But anyway, this is the Benchmade Bug Out 535. I'm super interested in two things I wanted to mention before we go. One, these Ray-Bans are the dopest sunglasses you can get as a man. Alright, and if you own these Ray-Ban Club Masters, you're now in my club. I'm just kidding. Two things I wanted to mention. One, Benchmade has come out with a new bug out. It's called the Super Freak or the Freak or something. I'm getting it. It's this knife better. Awesome. Can't wait. Number two, the new Leatherman. If you haven't seen a Leatherman Free, guys, those things are sick. They're all like magnetic opening and stuff. Check it out, the Leatherman Freak. So I didn't do my top 10 SHOT Show picks this year because I didn't see anything worth telling you guys about besides the Leatherman and Benchmade. I mean, VanQuest and everybody just didn't really release much. They upgraded their Trident 20 line. I mean, there wasn't really much to talk about. I didn't feel like making a video about nothing. You guys are only getting good content from now on out of this channel, so I'm not just going to make a video to make a video. So anyway, that is my knife collection. I know it's skimpy compared to others, but that's what works for me. It's an ever-growing process, even though I'm also going the minimalist life with my life. And with that being said, a lot of these maybe might not be sticking around so long. So if you're interested in one, maybe let me know. I might be interested in getting rid of one or two of them maybe. Definitely not this Benchmade. Definitely not the Zero Tolerant. You know what? I'll probably not get rid of any of them. But knives are one of those things where they bring me joy. So when you're being a minimalist and you're trying to get rid of things and do that kind of stuff and get rid of things, it's important to not get rid of things that are bringing you joy and happiness to your life. I like knives a lot. They bring me joy. They make me happy. They cut my hands up sometimes, but that's okay because when you play with knives, you're going to get cut. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you spending your very, very valuable time here at the Hard City. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. And that's it. Peace. Storm also says bye. But she did it in like a kind of like a like that. Oh, did I wake you up, baby? I'm sorry. You want to say goodbye? Say bye.